Hi guys, my name is Richard Agbono, the convener of Good Evening Niger. I greet you this evening. And on the show tonight, we take a look at the unthinkable that is being done by the president of Rwanda in the East Africa country. People of God, you will believe it, that over 5,600 churches have been closed down in the last 2 weeks in Rwanda for reasons that will shock you. But before we take a look at the reasons why the government of Uganda is shutting down churches in the East Africa country, let's even take a look at the reactions of Africans across the globe as against the backdrop of this move by the president of Rwanda. Actually, there are two different opinions. There are some set of persons who believe what the Rwanda president is doing or the Rwanda government is doing is the way to go, so as to checkmate the proliferation of churches in Africa as well as their activities, which they describe as being more transactional than spiritual. But on the other hand, there are a group of persons who believe the church in Rwanda is going through persecution, and they feel it is a bad precedent for other African countries like Nigeria, where Pentecostal churches are spreading like wildfire. Now back to our question, why is the government closing down churches in Rwanda? Is it that Paul Kagame doesn't want people to pray anymore? My brothers and sisters in Christ, that is far from the truth. In 2018, the government signed a law which set standards for the operation of religious organizations in the country. And do not get it twisted that this is just affecting only churches in Rwanda. No, it equally affected other religious organizations in the country. The reason why we hear of churches and churches more in this, as far as this issue is concerned, is because Muslims actually make up about just 2% in the country, and such you are not likely to see so many mosques in the East Africa country. Now, what does that law say? First, before you can set up a religious organization in Rwanda, it must be on a safe and organized environment, and your church must have a sound. Your church almost is not expected to have a loudspeaker outside of the building. So the implication is that when you are having your all-night prayers at night, you are not supposed to disturb another person's night sleep. When you are calling for prayers in the morning as a Muslim, you are not supposed to wake somebody up who is not ready to wake up at the wee hour of the morning. The second one is who is qualified to operate a church or a mosque. For you to be a pastor in Rwanda, the government has said you must have been through a school of theology. You can't just wake up and say God called you and set up a church in Rwanda. The Rwanda government has said you are not qualified to be a pastor. For you to be a pastor, you must have gone to the school of theology and be certified, without which you are not qualified to be a pastor. In 2018, when this standard was set, the government equally gave 5 years moratorium to churches and mosques in the East Africa country to make up these standards. And since 2 weeks, they've been enforcing these laws. And as I speak to you, people of God, the over 5,600 churches, Protestant churches, have been shut down in the East Africa country. Catholics are no way affected because Catholics always meet up this standard even before this law was set. You can hardly see a Catholic church without toilets, and you can't find a Catholic priest who didn't go to theology school. As a matter of fact, the Reverend Fathers spent 9 years in the school of theology before they can be ordained as parish priests. Now, to you out there watching this video, do you think the Rwanda government is doing the needful, or you are one of those who feels the church in Rwanda is undergoing persecution? People of God, I want to get your opinion at the comment section. And until I see you again, I remain your host. Richard Agbono is my name. Bye.